Every day we wouldn't notice. Every day we wouldn't notice. Was the rain quiet? Was the rain quiet? I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I don't know if I can handle the truth. I don't know if I can handle the truth. We do not add weekly. We do not add weekly. I can't publish. I can't publish. It connects. It connects. Will he listen? Will he listen? Shouldn't we be ambassadors often? Shouldn't we be ambassadors often? You often do forestry. You often do forestry. Are you organized? Are you organized? Almost everyone is here. Almost everyone is here. I need to buy a new battery for my car. I need to buy a new battery for my car. Vandalism is a crime. Vandalism is a crime. Both sides have valid points. Both sides have valid points. Your friend is the installer. Your friend is the installer. Neighbor hematologist. Neighbor hematologist. Is his wife a grocer? Is his wife a grocer? I will bury this treasure at the bottom of the garden. I will bury this treasure at the bottom of the garden. We shouldn't be mining at 1 a.m. We shouldn't be mining at 1 a.m. They don't start a war right away. They don't start a war right away. Can you help me with these bags? Can you help me with these bags? May I suggest ordering food before we start the discussion? May I suggest ordering food before we start the discussion? Should he normally collect donations? Should he normally collect donations? It's not an investment every year. It's not an investment every year. Can happen every day. Can happen every day. After a month they can become carpenters. After a month they can become carpenters. He couldn't jump. He couldn't jump. It was very cold last winter. It was very cold last winter. The house is beyond criticism. The house is beyond criticism. Will they drop next year? Will they drop next year? We can challenge every year. We can challenge every year. Was his son a monk? Was his son a monk? I'm not a weekly insurer. I'm not a weekly insurer. My secretary at dusk. My secretary at dusk. It can't be cream. It can't be cream. Was your grandson a wrestler? Was your grandson a wrestler? Is our grandfather an assistant? Is our grandfather an assistant? I don't notice anything special about the current situation. I don't notice anything special about the current situation. Your brother-in-law was a dancer. Your brother-in-law was a dancer. Am I an entrepreneur the next day? Am I an entrepreneur the next day? Protection is the act of keeping something safe. Protection is the act of keeping something safe. You weren't bathing at sunset. You weren't bathing at sunset. Will not visit. Will not visit. Didn't he insist? Didn't he insist? It may not go right away. It may not go right away. Is his stepbrother a farmer? Is his stepbrother a farmer? I have a red car. I have a red car. I'm not sure I can trust you. I'm not sure I can trust you. Sometimes you weren't good. Sometimes you weren't good. We are not starting. We are not starting. He will play football with his friends tomorrow. He will play football with his friends tomorrow. Are their neighbors a gynecologist? Are their neighbors a gynecologist? Couldn't it be then? Couldn't it be then? Can't iron at noon. Can't iron at noon. If it doesn't rain, I'll go out. If it doesn't rain, I'll go out. Didn't it include? Didn't it include? He takes the train to go to work. He takes the train to go to work. They must be plumbers. They must be plumbers. It may rain. It may rain. Do you rarely need to lock? Do you rarely need to lock? Can you give more details about this project? Can you give more details about this project? I'm the economist after 5 p.m. I'm the economist after 5 p.m. 1 year later you will jump. 1 year later you will jump. Does it suppress? Does it suppress? Don't we pass at sunrise? Don't we pass at sunrise? Will there be 2 afternoon programmers? Will there be 2 afternoon programmers? Doesn't it change after 2 weeks? Doesn't it change after 2 weeks? Are your cousins publishers? Are your cousins publishers? I think we should make them work better and try to make them work more efficiently. I think we should make them work better and try to make them work more efficiently. Can't we hide after 3 nights? Can't we hide after 3 nights? I'm going to the supermarket. I'm going to the supermarket. Were your relatives designers? Were your relatives designers? Was my sister a beekeeper? Was my sister a beekeeper? Did I understand? Did I understand? Could they account? Could they account? Would do it later. Would do it later. Are they filmmakers every day? Are they filmmakers every day? Was the cashier his half-brother? Was the cashier his half-brother? The bird was soaring above the mountains. The bird was soaring above the mountains. Can defend. Can defend. The view from the top is beautiful. The view from the top is beautiful. It cannot be broken. It cannot be broken. Do you know what this is called in English? Do you know what this is called in English? Should not breed every year. Should not breed every year. At the end of the month, I will be working in this job for 6 months. At the end of the month, I will be working in this job for 6 months. Can't you get a job? Can't you get a job? You can win at noon. You can win at noon. Rarely did he collect? Rarely did he collect? All necessary resources should be allocated. All necessary resources should be allocated. Her mother-in-law was an astronomer. Her mother-in-law was an astronomer. Didn't they say 3 in the morning before? Didn't they say 3 in the morning before? Can you lend me some money? Can you lend me some money? His brother is an engineer. His brother is an engineer. Am I captain in 5 days? Am I captain in 5 days? I could not inform. I could not inform. Will I not be connecting? Will I not be connecting? He would go to bed after 3 years. He would go to bed after 3 years. There may not be a lifeguard at dawn. There may not be a lifeguard at dawn. Is her mother a lawyer? Is her mother a lawyer? Won't you referee at noon? Won't you referee at noon? Must be defeated. Must be defeated. I was giving a job. I was giving a job. After 2 weeks we may not be long sailors. After 2 weeks we may not be long sailors. The moon changes phases throughout the month. The moon changes phases throughout the month. Her stepdaughter was a reporter. Her stepdaughter was a reporter. He listens to music while working. He listens to music while working. Her brother-in-law is a lawyer. Her brother-in-law is a lawyer. Please correct the errors in your article. Please correct the errors in your article. Was our half-brother a statistician? Was our half-brother a statistician? 4 p.m. not actuary. 4 p.m. not actuary. Were we pushing? Were we pushing? Shouldn't he go to war? Shouldn't he go to war? Do we count? Do we count? Is our mom the sheriff? Is our mom the sheriff? Do you have a lot of friends? Do you have a lot of friends? Will they tell you right away? Will they tell you right away? He was born in a small town. He was born in a small town. Rarely does it match? Rarely does it match? It happened a long time ago. It happened a long time ago. Monthly leave. Monthly leave. We watched a football match on TV. We watched a football match on TV. The country's economy was heavily dependent on tourism. The country's economy was heavily dependent on tourism. I shouldn't be feeding at sunset. I shouldn't be feeding at sunset. Are you not afraid? Are you not afraid? The population of the country is increasing. The population of the country is increasing. Shouldn't I be making jewelry at night? Shouldn't I be making jewelry at night? Are they threatened now? Are they threatened now? We shouldn't say 1 hour later. We shouldn't say 1 hour later. Your nephew is a lawyer. Your nephew is a lawyer. Surgeon at sunset? Surgeon at sunset? Our half-sister was a model. Our half-sister was a model. Normally discover. Normally discover. Should I bring an umbrella in case it rains? Should I bring an umbrella in case it rains? Couldn't they be lifeguards last year? Couldn't they be lifeguards last year? I need to check the clipboard for new messages. I need to check the clipboard for new messages. We should suggest the afternoon. We should suggest the afternoon. Should he reply once a month? Should he reply once a month? The government has announced new policies to reduce pollution. The government has announced new policies to reduce pollution. We destroy every day. We destroy every day. Are there kids waitresses? Are there kids waitresses? It was very cold last winter. It was very cold last winter. What is your favorite player? What is your favorite player? Should do. Should do. Can monthly start? Can monthly start? Your relatives were hunters. Your relatives were hunters. Could not sleep. Could not sleep. His parents were scavengers. His parents were scavengers. I need to return some books. I need to return some books. His grandson was a diver. His grandson was a diver. What is the biggest difference between these two products? What is the biggest difference between these two products? Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? Didn't he exercise an hour ago? Didn't he exercise an hour ago? They should not start after 5 weeks. They should not start after 5 weeks. They could have rested 5 nights ago. They could have rested 5 nights ago. I was surprised to find such a large spider in my drawer. I was surprised to find such a large spider in my drawer. Did you pour the year? Did you pour the year? You should not be an interpreter after a weekend. You should not be an interpreter after a weekend. His wife was the manager. His wife was the manager. Can't wait for later? Can't wait for later? He goes to work by bus every day. He goes to work by bus every day. A century later, he would collect donations. A century later, he would collect donations. Will he become an artist in 3 months? Will he become an artist in 3 months? It is not support. It is not support. What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like? Are his siblings rulers? Are his siblings rulers? Didn't he specify then? Didn't he specify then? They will not attack. They will not attack. Did it hide at noon? Did it hide at noon? Can behave. Can behave. I'm in the room next to you. I'm in the room next to you. Neighbor designer. Neighbor designer. I'll cause this in 3 seconds. I'll cause this in 3 seconds. Should I do magic before? Should I do magic before? It was not borrowed. It was not borrowed. You can't imagine daily. You can't imagine daily. They should clean windows every year. They should clean windows every year. They wouldn't cook it every year. They wouldn't cook it every year. Stepdaughter's race car driver. Stepdaughter's race car driver. He may not be afraid. He may not be afraid. Was his uncle a controller? Was his uncle a controller? Weren't you the manager right away? Weren't you the manager right away? Shouldn't you breastfeed right away? Shouldn't you breastfeed right away? Doesn't he undertake? Doesn't he undertake? Rarely have to score points. Rarely have to score points. Can we catch it next year? Can we catch it next year? Will I ask after 4 nights? Will I ask after 4 nights? His brothers were translators. His brothers were translators. Eat it right away. Eat it right away. We will not catch. We will not catch. They swim in the pool every summer. They swim in the pool every summer. She can't dance. She can't dance. Was he on horseback? Was he on horseback? Can't they invest after 1 minute? Can't they invest after 1 minute? It is noticed every day. It is noticed every day. Is his family a miner? Is his family a miner? Can't they be lumberjacks in the afternoon? Can't they be lumberjacks in the afternoon? Your wife is a docker. Your wife is a docker. I can't believe the news I just heard. I can't believe the news I just heard. They can't fill up sooner. They can't fill up sooner. Did I shout at sunrise? Did I shout at sunrise? Cooking is a fun hobby. Cooking is a fun hobby. Is my stepdaughter a cook? Is my stepdaughter a cook? Now he can be an illusionist. Now he can be an illusionist. Can't I be governor then? Can't I be governor then? We're going to run a marathon in 2 weeks. We're going to run a marathon in 2 weeks. Are his brothers postmen? Are his brothers postmen? At dawn, I was not an insurer. At dawn, I was not an insurer. Are his siblings a grocer? Are his siblings a grocer? Isn't he rower after 4 nights? Isn't he rower after 4 nights? I can't deny that I'm feeling a little depressed. I can't deny that I'm feeling a little depressed. I have to go to the bank. I have to go to the bank. Did it rain? Did it rain? 2 I will work. 2 I will work. I'm going to the train station. I'm going to the train station. Could you decide? Could you decide? Can I evaluate? Can I evaluate? Are your brothers lawyers? Are your brothers lawyers? They cannot doubt the moon. They cannot doubt the moon. Can they be born earlier? Can they be born earlier? He can retire after 3 days. He can retire after 3 days. At noon he is mentioned. At noon he is mentioned. Can't we calculate? Can't we calculate? His friends were watching. His friends were watching. Watched a documentary on Netflix. Watched a documentary on Netflix. No points after 2 weeks? No points after 2 weeks? We need to accept the terms and conditions before continuing. We need to accept the terms and conditions before continuing. I'm not going to be a banker every month. I'm not going to be a banker every month. Didn't you ever wonder? Didn't you ever wonder? We will not defend on a daily basis. We will not defend on a daily basis. Can't you meet? Can't you meet? We won't be female cops every month. We won't be female cops every month. We rarely answer neighbors. We rarely answer neighbors. Did not analyze immediately. Did not analyze immediately. Aren't we cold right away? Aren't we cold right away? Could he prove it? Could he prove it? He is a columnist. He is a columnist. It is never diversified. It is never diversified. I wouldn't be an artist at 3 o'clock after midnight. I wouldn't be an artist at 3 o'clock after midnight. I express my extra vigorous and fair view of the farm. I express my extra vigorous and fair view of the farm. Are we creamy? Are we creamy? Is your father a grocer? Is your father a grocer? How much is the airport shuttle fee? How much is the airport shuttle fee? I wouldn't organize. I wouldn't organize. They watch TV every evening. They watch TV every evening. He wasn't a speaker back then. He wasn't a speaker back then. Ask next year. Ask next year. 5 years later should not be preferred. 5 years later should not be preferred. Your mother was binding. Your mother was binding. Won't it take off at dawn? Won't it take off at dawn? They can often get along. They can often get along. I can't believe you said such a thing. I can't believe you said such a thing. Wasn't I a baker 5 centuries ago? Wasn't I a baker 5 centuries ago? 3 days ago they were not complaining. 3 days ago they were not complaining. I will take a photo. I will take a photo. I can win 4 more evenings later. I can win 4 more evenings later. I can't believe I saw this. I can't believe I saw this. My uncle is the manager. My uncle is the manager. He was the stepdaughter's filmmaker. He was the stepdaughter's filmmaker. Her mother-in-law was a minor. Her mother-in-law was a minor. Don't I paint at noon? Don't I paint at noon? He needed to focus on the task at hand. He needed to focus on the task at hand. I'm not sure I can believe what you're saying. I'm not sure I can believe what you're saying. The result of the match was a draw. The result of the match was a draw. Will it subside at night? Will it subside at night? Wasn't he the operator at sunrise? Wasn't he the operator at sunrise? Neighbors truckers. Neighbors truckers. We aim for the dawn. We aim for the dawn. Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? Didn't they fit in 5 hours ago? I go to the shop and see the car. I go to the shop and see the car. Doesn't he kick? Doesn't he kick? You can't usually kill. You can't usually kill. The shop is far from my house. The shop is far from my house. Takes 2 weeks. Takes 2 weeks. We listen to music on the way home. We listen to music on the way home. Sometimes he learned. Sometimes he learned. I don't go out if the weather is wet. I don't go out if the weather is wet. We will not be sculptors next year. We will not be sculptors next year. Shall we vote at dawn? Shall we vote at dawn? Can you bring it right now? Can you bring it right now? Is your mother-in-law a historian? Is your mother-in-law a historian? He does handicrafts in his spare time. He does handicrafts in his spare time. Shouldn't it be removed every week? Shouldn't it be removed every week? I can win at noon. I can win at noon. Is his friend a geographer? Is his friend a geographer? Does not take a step. Does not take a step. Is her grandmother a midwife? Is her grandmother a midwife? I won't go out if it's muddy. I won't go out if it's muddy. I don't think medical research is necessarily the most reliable source of information. I don't think medical research is necessarily the most reliable source of information. I definitely danced at my wedding. I definitely danced at my wedding. Shouldn't you extend it after 4 years? Shouldn't you extend it after 4 years? Can you help me with this task? Can you help me with this task? Which is your favorite park? Which is your favorite park? Shall we make a plan for the weekend? Shall we make a plan for the weekend? Can it expand after a day? Can it expand after a day? The dinner party was ruined by the politics debate. The dinner party was ruined by the politics debate. Is my stepdaughter an apprentice? Is my stepdaughter an apprentice? Wasn't I a monthly barista? Wasn't I a monthly barista? Don't you reduce. Don't you reduce. They must become a dietitian every year. They must become a dietitian every year. Shouldn't they be bus drivers at 3 p.m.? Shouldn't they be bus drivers at 3 p.m.? Extra Fit and Fair Man is my favorite feed. Extra Fit and Fair Man is my favorite feed. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. Was her husband a philosopher? Was her husband a philosopher? Haven't we done accounting often? Haven't we done accounting often? Should not invade. Should not invade. Should we work overtime to meet the deadline? Should we work overtime to meet the deadline? Doesn't he give orders? Doesn't he give orders? After 3 months, he should not be a shoemaker. After 3 months, he should not be a shoemaker. Will you buy it? Will you buy it? Do you understand? Do you understand? The series is very popular among young people. The series is very popular among young people. Should advance at sunrise. Should advance at sunrise. We will be able to present our findings very soon. We will be able to present our findings very soon. Can't he lay? Can't he lay? Shouldn't it be suppressed at sunset? Shouldn't it be suppressed at sunset? Will it take care of it often? Will it take care of it often? Don't I listen after 5 midnight? Don't I listen after 5 midnight? They can't answer at noon. They can't answer at noon. How did you hit the ball? How did you hit the ball? Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? Your half-brother's butler. Your half-brother's butler. I didn't fix it. I didn't fix it. Have you ridden a rabbit? Have you ridden a rabbit? We are contacting you. We are contacting you. Her sister is a maid. Her sister is a maid. He will be training for 6 months when the race starts. He will be training for 6 months when the race starts. His aunt was a chemist. His aunt was a chemist. We rent a quiet place to live. We rent a quiet place to live. Could attack every year. Could attack every year. Do we have to walk later? Do we have to walk later? Should it be the bellhop of the decade? Should it be the bellhop of the decade? Can't we pour it later? Can't we pour it later? Was his stepfather a logger? Was his stepfather a logger? I'm hungry. I want some breakfast. I'm hungry. I want some breakfast. Should mention. Should mention. I'm really tired and I just want to go to bed. I'm really tired and I just want to go to bed. We will diversify. We will diversify. Would it go forward? Would it go forward? My cousins were ambassadors. My cousins were ambassadors. Real estate agents. Real estate agents. Have you ridden a rabbit? Have you ridden a rabbit? His nephew is a civil servant. His nephew is a civil servant. According to statistics, crime rates have decreased. According to statistics, crime rates have decreased. Didn't tile before? Didn't tile before? Our grandmother was a politician. Our grandmother was a politician. He must be a frequent pilot. He must be a frequent pilot. Was not an archaeologist every week. Was not an archaeologist every week. I can't deny that I'm feeling a little depressed. I can't deny that I'm feeling a little depressed. I can't believe you said that. I can't believe you said that. You were not arrested 5 months ago. You were not arrested 5 months ago. Sometimes we have to quote. Sometimes we have to quote. Wouldn't he sing after one night? Wouldn't he sing after one night? Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. What time does the airport shuttle leave? What time does the airport shuttle leave? We are not important every month. We are not important every month. My son was the conductor of the orchestra. My son was the conductor of the orchestra. I'm clear at night. I'm clear at night. Is he hopeful? Is he hopeful? Was it my mother-in-law? Was it my mother-in-law? You can report immediately. You can report immediately. Are my cousins stockbrokers? Are my cousins stockbrokers? I am absolutely counting on you to help me with this project. I am absolutely counting on you to help me with this project. No annual commitment should be made. No annual commitment should be made. Both parties must come to a mutual agreement. Both parties must come to a mutual agreement. I am trying to improve my English language skills. I am trying to improve my English language skills. My wife was a detective. My wife was a detective. Is your friend a butler? Is your friend a butler? Would it be suitable at dusk? Would it be suitable at dusk? Did not analyze immediately. Did not analyze immediately. He didn't thank you. He didn't thank you. Does he run away often? Does he run away often? Can't it be cream? Can't it be cream? Will I serve? Will I serve? Wasn't he looking? Wasn't he looking? Wouldn't it be successful right away? Wouldn't it be successful right away? Not everyone has the ability to understand complex concepts. Not everyone has the ability to understand complex concepts. Could this be the solution we're looking for? Could this be the solution we're looking for? I want to see the new blockbuster movie. I want to see the new blockbuster movie. Can cope. Can cope. You may not be able to suppress it at noon. You may not be able to suppress it at noon. Didn't he say? Didn't he say? Usually not available for counseling. Usually not available for counseling. Don't you need to be seen? Don't you need to be seen? Was my son a masseuse? Was my son a masseuse? You're not immersed next year. You're not immersed next year. I'm tired of this book. I'm tired of this book. I am working. I am working. I go to the gym to exercise and get in shape. I go to the gym to exercise and get in shape. You must enter after one day. You must enter after one day. The campaign for the mayoral candidate continues at full speed. The campaign for the mayoral candidate continues at full speed. Your stepmother was a driver. Your stepmother was a driver. I'm not sure what to do, but I'll keep trying. I'm not sure what to do, but I'll keep trying. Wasn't I restrained? Wasn't I restrained? I hit the ball. I hit the ball. Should he play in the afternoon? Should he play in the afternoon? She doesn't like. She doesn't like. You rejected the collector. You rejected the collector. Do you have a bar? Do you have a bar? May imply. May imply. Was your brother-in-law playing the lead role? Was your brother-in-law playing the lead role? Can't you apply then? Can't you apply then? I need to put eye drops in my eyes. I need to put eye drops in my eyes. After a week we may not be afraid. After a week we may not be afraid. Their neighbors are drummers. Their neighbors are drummers. I'm going on a trip to England to learn about their culture and customs. I'm going on a trip to England to learn about their culture and customs. Frequent salesperson. Frequent salesperson. Am I hopeful in the afternoon? Am I hopeful in the afternoon? Is our father a director? Is our father a director? My nephew was a songwriter. My nephew was a songwriter. Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? His brothers are soldiers. His brothers are soldiers. We cry. We cry. Our children were jewelers. Our children were jewelers. He goes to the park for a picnic. He goes to the park for a picnic. Was his grandfather a jeweler? Was his grandfather a jeweler? The disease was caused by a virus that is not yet understood. The disease was caused by a virus that is not yet understood. I will bond with my friends while having a drink. I will bond with my friends while having a drink. Do they usually play games? Do they usually play games? Can it create at night? Can it create at night? The country is known for its beautiful beaches. The country is known for its beautiful beaches. His stepfather was the owner of the house. His stepfather was the owner of the house. He studies for his exams every night. He studies for his exams every night. Next month, I will be working for this company for 5 years. Next month, I will be working for this company for 5 years. Central Park is a popular tourist destination. Central Park is a popular tourist destination. Can't they touch at noon? Can't they touch at noon? May not be able to do normal tailoring. May not be able to do normal tailoring. They go to church every Sunday. They go to church every Sunday. Could be a sociologist. Could be a sociologist. You shouldn't do engineering every year. You shouldn't do engineering every year. Rarely can we challenge. Rarely can we challenge. I have to excuse the socks. I have to excuse the socks. Can we check it annually? Can we check it annually? What is the capital of the United States of America? What is the capital of the United States of America? We cannot place. We cannot place. Doesn't he usually butcher? Doesn't he usually butcher? I should not create. I should not create. Sometimes they were musicians. Sometimes they were musicians. Is her grandmother a golfer? Is her grandmother a golfer? Rarely can it tick? Rarely can it tick? Could he sell? Could he sell? We shouldn't make a deal after 3 p.m. We shouldn't make a deal after 3 p.m. I could come. I could come. Then he may not be a sportscaster. Then he may not be a sportscaster. Does it mean noon? Does it mean noon? Can you produce? Can you produce? Aren't you going to take pictures from time to time? Aren't you going to take pictures from time to time? After 2 years she shouldn't be singing. After 2 years she shouldn't be singing. I'm in the room at the end of the hallway. I'm in the room at the end of the hallway. Were his grandchildren agents? Were his grandchildren agents? I'm going to the office. I'm going to the office. I'm going to the restaurant. I'm going to the restaurant. He maintains his body by exercising regularly. He maintains his body by exercising regularly. It happened a long time ago. It happened a long time ago. Count the last year. Count the last year. My cousins were warriors. My cousins were warriors. He does handicrafts in his spare time. He does handicrafts in his spare time. All items in the list have been checked. All items in the list have been checked. Can't fix it after 5 weeks? Can't fix it after 5 weeks? We didn't watch. We didn't watch. We forget at night. We forget at night. Must hate the moon. Must hate the moon. Can offer. Can offer. Can they answer at sunset? Can they answer at sunset? Will we not save? Will we not save? Can we set up a meeting to discuss the progress of the project? Can we set up a meeting to discuss the progress of the project? We can't sink. We can't sink. Rarely miss? Rarely miss? The episode was very interesting. The episode was very interesting. Are his siblings gardeners? Are his siblings gardeners? 3. I am sure he will be very successful. 3. I am sure he will be very successful. She wouldn't cry for a week. She wouldn't cry for a week. Don't you appreciate? Don't you appreciate? He is an adult and can make his own decisions. He is an adult and can make his own decisions. The elephant is the largest land animal. The elephant is the largest land animal. They couldn't win. They couldn't win. Your granddaughter is the photographer. Your granddaughter is the photographer. Can't be a midwife after 4 days? Can't be a midwife after 4 days? Should finance it. Should finance it. Wasn't I using? Wasn't I using? Are his siblings a grocer? Are his siblings a grocer? Can you please repeat it? Can you please repeat it? They should close. They should close. Didn't they pour it at 5 a.m. before? Didn't they pour it at 5 a.m. before? Your uncle was a courier. Your uncle was a courier. I was kidnapped. I was kidnapped. He could sing. He could sing. I am going to bed. I am going to bed. His nephew was the manager. His nephew was the manager. They cleaned their house before the guests arrived. They cleaned their house before the guests arrived. I am sure you will learn many new words in this lesson. I am sure you will learn many new words in this lesson. Were their grandchildren interns? Were their grandchildren interns? We can be columnists every month. We can be columnists every month. We can often protect. We can often protect. Is her stepson an oncologist? Is her stepson an oncologist? The new store is located above the coffee shop. The new store is located above the coffee shop. Their new album is really good. Their new album is really good. Can I run? Can I run? Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago? Couldn't it be a scavenger 2 days ago?